game number 44 for the Boston Celtics, which is hard to believe over a week into the new year. But the C's are in London for their matchup against the 76ers. Welcome back to the Celtics pregame report for CLNS Media. I am, of course, your host, Josue Pavone. I'm joined by Dan Greenberg of Barstool Sports to break down this Thursday matinee. What's up, Dan? What's going on?
Doing well. How's it going?
Good. Can't complain. Got a little break, you know. Got about a week off from seeing the Celtics. But here we are today with this matchup in London.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't too easy for me, but I'm glad it's finally here.
33-10, second best record in the league, 6-game winning streak. You know, Dan, I keep waiting for the Celtics to go on a losing streak already so I can say, see, this team can win 50 games like I initially predicted when Gordon Hayward went down. But 60 wins in one season, pump the brakes, Celtics fans. Take it easy, but it hasn't happened yet, Dan. Where do you stand on this? Can this team actually win 60 games?
I don't know. 60 is a lot. You know, I've always set the bar at 54. Seeing as how they already have 33 wins, I'm feeling pretty confident in that number. But for me, it's not so important as, you know, how many wins they finally end up with as opposed to the seed that they're in. I mean, I need that number one seed just for the home court. I mean, we've seen how they've played against the NBA's elite at home. So for me, if it's 54, 59, 60, that doesn't matter as long as they get that one seed.
Yeah, you know, people made a lot of comments about the Cavaliers' victory, of course, you know, saying like, hey, guys, you know, let's relax a bit. Isaiah Thomas didn't play. This team isn't at full strength. But I'm in the camp of saying, hey, a win's a win. And if you're getting a win against the Cavaliers, which is going to put you in a position to grab home court when these two teams eventually clash in the playoffs, that's a successful thing to overcome no matter what the odds are.
Yeah, and that's sort of how I looked at it, right? Like, that win didn't tell me, oh, the Celtics are finally ready to beat them in the playoff series.
Exactly.
Because we all know that LeBron can flip a switch. But all of that stuff, I mean, they only play 3 times. So the head-to-head matchup was very important for them to win that game, just so, you know, even if for some reason you end up with a tied home or tied record at the end of the year, you do get that tiebreaker. So for me, I don't know how they'll look come, you know, May or April and May, but anytime you can go in having a home court advantage, even though it didn't help us last year, this is an entirely different roster, entirely different situation. So for me, it was important in that regard.
Got to get your take on this Paul Pierce, Isaiah Thomas thing. Who's being too selfish here? Is Isaiah Thomas being too selfish for wanting his tribute video moved to February 11th? Or is Pierce being too selfish and not wanting to see a tribute video the same night his number's being retired?
I don't know. This whole thing is just so stupid.
It's gotten crazy, right?
Like,
yeah.
Yeah, it's like, obviously, it's not as if Isaiah looked at the schedule and said, okay, this is the night that they're, you know, tributing Paul Pierce. This is when I want it. That just happens to be the last time that the Cavs are in Boston, you know,
Yep.
that season. So, for whatever reason, you know, it's not as if the Celtics could have picked any random game. They wanted to pick Cleveland because they know it's going to be a marquee game. I just don't understand how, if there's, let's say, 10 TV timeouts, how if you spend 1 minute in the first quarter showing a video, how that takes anything away. But I just feel like people are so bent out of shape about it. It's like, if Little Funk comes and does a timeout performance, is that going to take away from the Paul Pierce night? No. So, like, what's the difference? I don't get it. I just think people are you know, all on this, you know, anti-Isaiah train now that, you know, he's on the Cavs. I think it's a little disingenuous, but, you know, you gotta complain about something in this city, so it doesn't really surprise me.
This edition of the Celtics pregame report is brought to you by DraftKings.com. Head to DraftKings.com and use the promo code CLNS for a free sign-up with your first deposit and a shot at a share of $10,000 in total prizes. That's DraftKings.com. Use the promo code CLNS and get yourself paid. Danny Ainge recently tweeted out a picture of Gordon Hayward with Olympic swimmer Jason Smithers at an indoor pool, and all Celtics fans, of course, could focus on was the fact that Hayward isn't in an ankle brace, which was pointed out by Danny Ainge in his tweet. You've been asked this question before, and I'm going to ask you again. Is there a legitimate chance we see Hayward back this season with the Boston Celtics, or do you think the Celtics, for long-term reasons, should hold off? Which one would you rather see, the more conservative approach, or do you want to just see him out there if he's healthy and ready to go?
If he's truly 100%, it's been tested. He's you know, passed all the benchmarks he needs to. I would love to see it, but at the same time, I don't think it's worth messing with any potential long-term side effects. I mean, this team has obviously been pretty good without him. I'm almost like, let's just see where this ride takes us and focus on, seeing him in October for next year. But it will be very hard if all the doctors say he's 100% good to go, to not just want to see him for 10 to 15 minutes just for the psychological relief and all that. Who knows what that might do for everybody on the roster, saying, look what he overcame. He powered through. He persevered. But at the same time, I don't know if I want to risk it. It's something that he's too important of a player just to risk on a. Let's say they make it to the finals, right? Like, can they beat Golden State with him? Maybe. So maybe in that instance, but I wouldn't want to play him in like a first or second round series. For me, it's not worth it.
What about if he's 70 to 80%?
No, shut him down. Don't do it.
All right, let's talk about Philly a bit here. The 76ers are at 500 with a 19-19 record. Why they haven't played as many games as the Celtics is beyond me. Nonetheless, Boston, of course, has had more ups and downs compared to Philadelphia. But the 76ers have put together some good fights against the Celtics. I feel like they can keep up with the Celtics because of their outside shooting. But the biggest reason why they're a 500 team, in my opinion, is because they don't have a closer in Ben Simmons. He's just not quite that player yet until he developed that jump shot. It's going to take a while, I feel like, for him to get that to piece it together. And I think that's going to be a problem in terms of them closing out wins. Do you share the same opinion as me?
Yeah, I just think, heading into the season, there was a lot of hype around them about, Embiid and Simmons and all these, these incredible young talents. But people didn't realize that it's very rare for a team of young players to win in the NBA. So we're seeing a lot of their youth show close in these games, right? Like, they're turning it over late in games. They're not, executing down the stretch. These are all things that are just normal development stages that, young NBA players have to go through. So, for me, it's a little... They're getting a little bit of a pass being out of the playoff picture in a 500 team if everybody wanted to talk about how they have these two top 20 talents. But at the same time, their future looks great because they haven't even played Markelle Fultz yet. So they're going to be good. They're going to be someone that, the Celtics have to pay attention to down the road. But as of now, I mean, if the Celtics, they've given them a good run, but when it comes down to executing down the stretch, it's no surprise that the team that has a more veteran lineup gets that job done. All
right, let's close this out the same way I close out every single Celtics pregame report with a prediction. Who wins today?
Oh, Celtics, easily. Not only that, but they'll probably cover with D.
You think so?
Oh, yeah. I mean, like I said, Philly, I just feel like, the Celtics seem Philly as that annoying little, housefly. And again, even if they have Embiid, even if they have Simmons, I don't see the Celtics, show on this big international showcase. I don't see them. I think Kyrie's going to come to play. I think, we might even get some Yabu minutes if we're lucky.
You might even see some dabbing going on. London style, huh?
I need it bad.
All right, he is Dan Greenberg of Barstool Sports. You can check out his work at barstoolsports.com. And, of course, give him a follow on Twitter. He's a very good follow. Very entertaining stuff on there on Twitter. He's at Stool Greenie. That's Stool Greenie, Greenie on Twitter. So give him a follow. Hey, Dan, we'll do this again sometime, man. Thank you for checking in.
Absolutely. Anytime. Just let me know.
Well, that's going to do it for this edition of the Celtics pregame report. Make sure you check out the Celtics postgame show on clnsmedia.com. You can call in toll free at 347-215-7771 after the game to get on the air. Or just like this show, you can listen to it on demand on the CLNS Media mobile app. Weekday shows air on the Celtics Newsfeed channel on iTunes, Stitcher, and the CLNS Media mobile app. For today's Boston Celtics pregame report with Joseph Pavone, this is Joseph Pavone signing off.